What's going on, everybody? Good evening. I know this is a little bit later than I usually post a video, but we're going to go ahead and go with it anyway. I do want to get this underway. Yeah, we're doing tight end. We're doing tight end, and look, I know what people are going to say. We don't care about tight end this year, and you're right, we don't. I, as a Seahawks fan, am not thinking about tight end whatsoever. If there's one position the Seahawks do not need, other than punter, if you had to pick one and punter was off the table, it would probably be tight end. AJ Barner's coming off a really good second year, and he's got 2 years left on his rookie deal. Elijah Arroyo has 3 years left on his rookie deal, and the team liked him enough to spend a second-round pick on him. And they also re-signed Saubert late last season to a 1-year deal this year. So you put it all together, there's no room for another tight end. I get it. But let's talk a little bit about it anyway. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. More on them later. Look, I just want to have a full understanding of this draft as much as I can. And we're going to go quick through these guys because I know that there's not going to be a lot of intrigue here, but tight end. Okay. So Sadiq is the star of the show by a pretty long shot here. He is the only tight end likely to go in the first. Oregon, 21 years old, so very young. He is small, he is undersized, and he has short arms, but he tested brilliantly. He had some of the best testing of any tight end ever. This is Vernon Davis level. The guy is an absolute freak. Runs a sub 4.4, sub 1.55, jumped out the building. Every big board put him in the first. Most of them put him in the top 18. Aggregate has him at 17. Didn't have a ton of production in college. It's more about his talent level, but he did have 50 catches last year. So he did put up the numbers that he needed to prove himself in 2025. He's that athlete, man. He is that guy. He moves really well. He moves smoothly. He can change direction. He's a fluid mover. He can line up in line. He can line up as a wide receiver, a slot receiver in the backfield and still find ways to help. He's actually pretty good at run blocking. He's powerful when run blocking, and he's got pretty good form. He can throw himself into contact, and he can get extra yards by power or by agility or by speed. There are multiple ways he can be a yak player. And he's built firmly despite being a smaller player. So even though he's not big, he is kind of sturdy in that way. And he can run all different kinds of routes. So he is close to the full package. He does drop too many passes. He does kind of run lazy routes. He needs to tighten up the route running a little bit. And the short arms are disappointing. 31.5 is not great. And I think there are some cerebral elements to the understanding the game that are still developing here. So this is not far off from Brock Bowers in terms of like the level of prospect we're talking about here. He is the real deal. He's a freak mismatch, and he's not a bad blocker. So I feel like he's a top 12 player in this class. I think, again, I'll have to put together the big board, but my gut tells me this guy's very special. And I don't see a lot of stuff here to be really concerned about. Maybe the drops, but that's a focus issue. That's something that you would expect to get better eventually. So Sadiq, love him, just not really thinking about him too much. Eli Stowers, or Stowers, I'm not sure, is our next guy here, Vanderbilt tight end. This is another phenom athlete, 23. He's small, but he does have longer arms and he is a little bit taller, so there are some advantages here. Do you like sports? If you do, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players' projections and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. I've had a great time using Prize Picks so far. It makes this daily fantasy thing so easy and fun, and it even makes watching the games way more exciting. And with the cool social feeds feature, you can share lineups with your friends and even follow partners to tail or fade their picks. Obviously, we're in the NFL offseason right now, but we've got basketball, baseball, hockey, all kinds of other stuff, so don't be afraid to test things out in whatever sport clicks with you. You can even pick multiple sports in the same lineup and sweat everything at once. And don't forget about team picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So, download Prize Picks, America's #1 sports app. And don't forget, Code HMA, that is HMA, gives you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. He's not quite on the level of Sadiq as an athlete, but he's pretty close. I mean, this is out of this world. Look at the explosiveness. He's one of the most explosive tight end prospects ever. Big boards, mostly second round. Walter has him in the fourth. CBS has him in the third. Aggregate has him as like a mid-second round pick. Good production last year for Vanderbilt. Almost 800 yards. The year before that, almost 650. So he's actually got more numbers than Sadiq ever did. So the athletic profile is the name of the game here. He's incredibly explosive. He's got the speed and the elusiveness to get yards after the catch. Vanderbilt lined him up everywhere, and he found ways to contribute. He's a physical player. He can survive contact. He can fight through contact to make catches. He's got great ball skills. There's so much to like here. And keep in mind, he is still kind of learning the tight end position. He is still learning on the job here because he was not a tight end until recently. So he's already great. He could get better quickly. He's got a massive catch radius because of his jumping ability. So as a receiving tight end, Stowers is just about everything you could want. He doesn't look like a 4.51 guy on the field to me, but maybe that just means he needs to get a little bit more comfortable. He's not a good blocker. I don't think he'll ever be a good blocker. Maybe he'll be adequate at some point, but that's not his game. He's a little physically weak, and he does run sloppy routes occasionally. So this kind of feels like Kyle Pitts, right? He's not really a tight end, just like Kyle Pitts isn't really a tight end. And Kyle Pitts did not really work out for Atlanta the way people were thinking. So I think people are off of Stowers a little bit because they look at him and they see the same thing. But I wonder if we're swinging a little too far here. This is still a freak. This is still a super freak. So I go early, middle, second round. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. And don't sleep on him if you're a team that needs a tight end. All right. Max Klare of Ohio State, the Buckeyes, is our next guy here. 23. Little bit more regular sized for tight end work. Still a little bit undersized. 6'4", 246. Arms are a little short. Big boards, mostly third. He is a third round on the aggregate. Produced pretty good over the last couple years. We're talking about 1,100 yards, almost 100 catches, 6 touchdowns. So not over the top production, but pretty good production. Was better in 2024 than 2025, but there are all kinds of reasons why that might be the case. Physically, he's a great route runner. He's got the change of direction and the discipline and all the physical traits you need to be a versatile route runner. He's got more speed than you might expect. He can really sneak up on you with his speed. He's got good yak. He can carve out bonus yards with his physicalness and also some speed. And he is improving as a run blocker, so there is a little bit of maybe every down tight end stuff here. He'll probably end up being about 250 pounds in the NFL, which is close to what you want these days. I don't think he'll ever be a very good blocker, though. I think he'll be okay. He does drop passes. He doesn't have very good hands. He's kind of weak at the catch point. He does everything right to the catch point, and then sometimes he just makes a mistake. And he might end up one of those tight ends that is just not meant to play inline. He might just be a full-time slot and outside player more than anything else. So this is a little bit frustrating. He's a receiving tight end, but he drops passes a lot and doesn't have great ball skills. You're mainly looking at Klare, I think, as a guy who is going to be a mismatch, more so than a guy who makes a ton of plays. But in this draft, there's enough here to go third round, I think, maybe late third round. I don't mind it, but you got to be a little bit careful here. There is some reason to be suspicious. We're talking about a receiving tight end with not very great hands. Final guy for this video is going to be Oscar Delp of Georgia. Never really broke out, but remains very talented. 23. Another smaller tight end with shorter arms. He is a little bit tall, though, so he's lean. Big boards. We got some fourths. We got some thirds. PFF really doesn't like him. They have him down in like the 6th or 7th. Aggregate puts him in the later third. He didn't really put up numbers. At Georgia over the last 2 years, 41 catches for about 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. Not really getting your attention here. He does have good route running skills. He has the ability to be a very good route runner with his change of direction and ability to plant and go. His speed and agility serves him well to get yak. He's a good yak player. He can play receiver and he can play in line, so you are getting a pretty versatile tight end here. He is fast enough to take advantage of most linebackers. Linebackers do not keep up with him very reliably in man. And he's got good form when blocking. He's not a stellar blocker yet or anything, but he does have good blocking form. Seems like he can be adequate there, and he has good hands. Doesn't drop a lot of passes. He's not strong enough to be an over-the-top good blocker, though, and I don't know if that's changing. He can be okay, but definitely not anything to get overly excited about. He's got a small catch radius, doesn't get a lot of stuff that's outside his circle. There are some concerns about how tough he is on a couple different levels. The production just wasn't there, and he's once you get your hands on him, he goes down. He will get yak with speed and agility, but once you get him, he's done for. So, for some reason, it just never really caught on at Georgia, but there's real talent and potential here. So I go early third round, and that might be a little bit ambitious of me, but I look at Oscar Delp and I see a guy who could be an every down tight end. For some reason, it didn't catch on at Georgia, but I'd be willing to spend an early third if I needed a tight end, which we obviously don't, to try to figure it out. All right, that's going to do it for this video. More tight end stuff coming tomorrow and the next day. We're going to power through this. I know tight end is not compelling this year, but we are going through it anyway. I'll see you guys soon. Go Hawks. Everybody have a good rest of your day.